Today, slightly different vlog. We're going to talk with you not about a company, not about a sector. We're going to talk about a country. In this specific case, we're going to talk about Spain, the Spanish stock market. And why? Because I was there last Tuesday, and I was impressed by the building. I was impressed by, mainly by the building and everything that was inside.
Only by the building in Madrid.
Mainly by the building, and of course Madrid is a beautiful city. So I wanted to share that with you. I made some pictures, I made some videos. I think it's nice for you to have, if you're in Madrid, to go and have a look. But before we show you those, Casper is gonna dive into the Spanish economy. He made some slides for you, and let's go and look at those.
Yeah, we sometimes talk about a country. We spoke about Colombia a year ago. We spoke a couple of weeks or months about the problems with France. We can look it back because I think a lot of people know, but if you don't know, please have a look at that vlog because it gives you good insight. I want to touch up on some indicators of the Spanish economy, and the funny thing is if you look at the deposits, so if you put your money away on average for a year, then the deposits, the money that you receive, the percentages in Spain are quite low, almost the lowest one in Europe, and that says something about the system, because the banks they have enough money, or they don't want to lend anything out, but they don't need to give that percentage what, for example, they have to give to the same person in Denmark. So let's see if it's going so good with Spain. Inflation wise, I think it's for whole Europe except in Romania and Estonia, but the rest, the inflation is quite under control. The inflation is above the 2% still, higher than in Germany and France and Italy. So it's from the bigger European countries, it's still a little bit on the high side. Yeah, I think more important is how it goes well with your productivity, with your economy, so the GDP. And then I think Spain is doing a good job, especially compared to the two engine motors of Europe, France and Germany, because the prediction of the GDP now, it's are almost no predictions anymore because we are already in October in 2025, around 2.5% for this year, and also next year a growth of above the 2%. Do you compare it with France, for example? I don't think there will be a growth this year, and also next year. I think the figures still give a 1%, but I think with everything is going on, have a look at the vlog, I think there will be no growth. And Germany, the biggest motor, no growth this year, and almost next year, maybe a little bit of growth. So from a GDP perspective, they're doing well. That perspective, on average, I think it's quite interesting to see the average debt of the countries in the EU zone is 81%. That's good. From a European scale, you have to look at averages. It's good. If you look at the Eurozone, it's 87%. And if you look at Spain, and we talked about the challenging countries of Europe, the South European countries like Greece, Italy, Portugal, in the last couple of years, they did a great job. They lowered their government debts. And Spain is increasing a little bit. So that's not a really good sign. They're spending too much. And if you look at how does it translate to bonds, so how much do the government have to pay an interest on if they put a new bond, 10 years bond on the market, then you see, interesting to see, I have a chart in front of me, it started in 2008, so the prices, then you see everything is together. And between 2010 and 2016, you saw that mainly Italy and Spain, they had to pay much more interest on their bonds, like 7% compared to 2 or 3. Big difference, eh?
Huge difference.
Fast forward 2025, the UK is paying 4.something%, really high. And then you see, in this case, Germany, France, Italy, Spain are close to each other. Germany is
still below. It's actually weird, because they have the lowest growth, even a shrink.
Yeah. And I think even Denmark is a little bit under Germany. I think Denmark is the lowest one. We will look it up. Germany, it's really in this chart, really close to each other. So Spain is doing well, because that's really important, of course, for a budget perspective, how much interest do you need to pay on your high debt of around 110%?
Correct.
Last thing, where does Spain earns the money from? What do they produce? And I think it's a good thing. They produce something. It's not like only a knowledge economy. They produce something. They are the biggest producer, for example, of olive oil, 45% of the whole world market. They are the second largest producer in Europe for cars, 2 million cars a year. But it's also scary because they produce Seat, Barcelona, Ford, Valencia, and Mercedes-Benz. And we all know that sector is suffering a lot. So that's really something you have to pay attention to. Economy, tourists, 25%. It's good, but it's also, if the economy will face problems, tourism will also face problems. But and to close off, really nice for us. It's Friday afternoon. They're the largest, if you compare to surfaces, the largest wine producer of the world.
Yeah.
And they did a great job after
nice.
they took over France and Italy.
Yeah, absolutely, and very good wines in Spain. Before I'm going to tell you how you can invest in the stock market and give you some characteristics of the stock market, first we're going to take you to Madrid and we'll walk you through the stock market. I'm sitting here in one of the oldest stock markets of Europe. Not the oldest is the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, the IBEX, located on the Dam Square in Amsterdam. The Bourse of Madrid was founded in 1801. The Dutch stock market was founded in 1601. The building I'm sitting in front of is the Bourse de Madrid, was inaugurated in 1894. The Spanish stock market, specifically in 2025, had a magnificent performance. One of the best performing European stock markets, with a performance of not less than 36%, mainly driven by financials. It's a stock market that is more known by national investors, so not as much as international. And also many times it's seen as an index for the more buy and hold investor, which is also translated in maybe the behavior in general of Spanish investors. Interesting day ahead of me. I'm going to go inside the building now. I'm going to have a tour here. I will show you some videos and show you some additional information about this building, about the Spanish stock market. So stay tuned.
Inside the main trading hall of the Madrid Stock Exchange stands the historic clock, a faithful replica of the one that stands in Amsterdam. The funny thing is that the clock has 3 working dials showing hours, minutes and seconds. The movement is entirely mechanical, so no electrical parts. A fine example of 19th century horological craft. The 4th dial was added to serve as a barometer. The barometer no longer functions and remains permanently set to changeable. A small funny fact reminding us of market uncertainty. Today the clock is both a practical timekeeper for traders and a symbol of precision. Every second counts.
In this picture you see the Cámara de Cotizaciones. It's a historic room inside the Madrid Stock Exchange, distinguished by its red velvet benches and portraits of the past directors. Also, the Spanish king is displayed in one of the paintings. This space was once the heart of the trading activity, where brokers gathered to monitor and discuss the market movement. Today it stands as a testament to the institution's rich history and its evolution over time. The main trading floor of the Madrid Stock Exchange, where brokers historically carried out their transactions. It's divided into small little sections called corros. You can see the signs. A corro is a trading ring or pit where brokers would gather to buy and sell specific stock. Each corro is numbered, allowing traders and clerks to quickly locate their trading activity. Today the floor combines tradition with modern technology. Large digital screens display live prices and market data, complementing the historical corros. A special elevated floor allows visitors and officials to observe trading activity without interfering with the brokers. The combination of historic design and modern tools ensures that the space remains both functional and symbolic. As you can see, it's a beautiful building. I had a very nice day, good on conversations with the people working there. But what exactly is the IBEX 35? What sort of index is it? Well, you can say it's a pretty old index. It's not the oldest. The oldest one is ours. It's the one from the Netherlands. Yeah. The index composes of 35 companies. That's also why it's called the IBEX 35. The performance this year has been tremendously good. It had I think it was the best performing European index from the more consolidated indexes, 33.6%. Wow. And it's an index that is known due to the low PEs in general. So it's an index that has pretty low price earnings, mainly due to banks, and also a pretty high dividend yielding index. Compared to, for instance, Germany is much more related to tech, much more related to growth, but we see that it's not really growing as you look at the chart to the left. It used to be. Generally also much higher price earnings in Germany. And so the composition of those indexes is different. Also, one of the things that I noticed is that, and also what they mentioned there, is that the Spanish index is much more known under the Spanish people and not so much outside of Spain. You don't see the IBEX or in portfolios as an ETF. Some people do buy the Cacaran, but it's very a national index. Spanish people, they buy their index. Best performer stock this year, we talked about it a couple of years ago. If you scroll down to our vlogs, you will find it. Acciona, up 66.5%, mainly due to the fact that they are really benefiting from the green transition. They are closing contract after contract after contract, mainly abroad, for their renewable energy infrastructures that they're building. And also the company has a very, very stable debt management. So they used to have quite a big debt. They managed to reduce that. They're doing a really good job on that. And the worst performer, and I was actually a little bit sad about it, because last year I was at a conference in Madrid, and the CEO of this company was explaining all his plans and what they've been doing, and they went for an IPO. It's called company Puig, Puig, and it's a company that is focusing on luxury brands. Also, if you want to scroll down, you know more about this company. They're suffering very heavily from lack of growth, and also they're losing some market share in China and the US. So how can you buy the index on itself? If you look for a position in the IBEX, you could buy the Amundi IBEX 35 UCITS ETF. It's an ETF that just simply follows the price of the Spanish stock market.
Yeah, you see how with buying an ETF, because a lot of people say you buy a basket, you can't make a good yield. You see, if you bought this ETF, how much was
year to date?
30
something percent. Yeah. And if you look over year on year, it's almost 40%.
Yeah, and if you only bought or you had an exposure to the Puig, then you lost a lot. So even with spreading your risk, buying a whole market, you can still gain a lot of nice profits. Huh? Yeah.
Definitely. So I hope you like this vlog. We'll try to do things like this more often. If we are somewhere and we think it's interesting, we'll share it with you. Always, of course, related to investing in the stock market. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with you next week.